here's some commentary on Trump protester getting hit by a car on a freeway. This is some serious shit here, and it reminds me of an old episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where just to cover was bypassed the old plot, and it ends with someone saying, "Well, aren't there things worth dying for?" And the reply is, "There are things worth dying for, but not this." And you have to think about what you're doing when it comes to these protests. And it's bad to see well-meaning people being manipulated by idiots and groupthink into doing really, really stupid things. So we might have the abstract concept: are there things worth putting your body and your life on the line for? And you might say yes. Is running off into the middle of the freeway to, in some abstract notion, protest Trump at this point, is that something worth putting your body on the line for? If there happens to be any 20 something year old who's being told that this is something they should do right now, or we saw this in Black Lives Matter, or whatever the next thing is, the next thing that involves someone telling you to run off into the middle of the freeway and possibly get hit by a car. Think about it for a second. Is this something worth putting your life on the line for? Why are these Trump protests fucking stupid? Well, it's fucking stupid because, number one, regardless of what you think about this election, and I think this election is fucking stupid, a stupid joke, bullshit, whatever. He did win the election, so what are you protesting? Are you protesting that the person who won the election shouldn't be the winner because you're running off into a freeway? Um, so if you think the election is this stupid, then why weren't you protesting the stupidity of the election before? Are you protesting for a warmonger, Hillary Clinton, her husband who cut welfare, got NAFTA through, expanded the prison industrial complex, and more? Are these the people you're protesting for? Maybe there are things worth putting your body on the line for. Is Hillary Clinton worth putting yourself on the line for? That fucking corporate whore? If you were going to protest this thing, shouldn't it be protested a while ago? When the DNC stole the election from Bernie Sanders. How about doing something productive, like instead of running off into the freeway, look into how you could maybe do something for the Green Party, or look into a group like the Zeitgeist Movement, or some other group that is actually working on making the world a better place, working to challenge the system in power. How exactly is running onto the freeway to challenge Donald Trump challenging the system? And it's not. And I'm going to explain why this Trump protest thing is actually very apolitical, as much as it's in the guise of political protest. In order to be a political protest, you have to have an agenda. You have to have some type of concrete idea of what you want. And these people are not running out saying, we protest blah 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 specific policy by Trump. He's not in the White House yet. We have a bunch of rhetoric, a lot of it contradictory, a lot of it's just bullshit from an ignoramus. But you have to have, if you're going to be a political protester, you need to have a political agenda that you're putting forth. And this is totally apolitical. It's identity politics. Identity politics is this notion that politics and economics don't matter. Only thing that matters is people's supposed identities. So, in other words, the things that cause poverty, the things that cause homelessness, the things that cause war, that doesn't matter. Let's just endlessly talk about how you shouldn't be racist and people should like Islam as much as people of other religions, and gays are fine and we need gay marriage. This obsession with these supposed identities, this dead end abyss of nonsense. Identity politics is apolitical. And I can saying this after dealing with enough of the identity politics people, and specifically seeing Those friends I know well for years, posting like on Facebook and discussing their politics and being deeply involved in activism and going to protest and having activism be a central part of their life. And after years of watching these people, my conclusion is they have no political agenda. They're totally apolitical. They economic. They have no political or economic theory whatsoever. Well, the only thing that they're running around is doing is saying, "Don't be racist. Don't be homophobic. Let's stop Islamophobia." These are not political ideas. You're not analyzing the world and questioning why do we have poverty, why do we have war? These answers that you get from the identity politics are extremely simple. The United States is not at war with numerous countries in the Middle East over the last decade because people hate Islam. It's because of controlling oil. It's because of real problems grounded in reality, not these abstract notions of identity. People don't fight wars over identity politics. Identity politics is simply at most the outer veneer of the or excuse that's needed to go in and do these things. So when someone talks about, for example, Black Lives Matter and anti-racism, if their argument is that black people are disproportionately poor and in jail in this country because of racism, well, maybe there's some truth to that, but you're not actually answering the question of why we have poverty and this big prison population, because there are very poor and homeless white people and white people in prison, and your race theory isn't answering why we have those white people in poverty. And to contrast this to slavery, you could apply the race issue to slavery because in the United States there were black people slaves and you had no white slaves. So that's very clear cut. Um, the race issue, it's not sufficient to explain these problems. But so instead of looking into the underlying economic issues, instead of examining capitalism, instead of developing a theory of capitalism, a theory of economics, or possibly a theory of anti-capitalism, you just run out and complain about racism or homophobia. Homophobia is it's or be against homophobia. It's not a political stance, because you have no theory of politics, you have no theory of economics, you have no theory of how to apply technology to solve human problems, you have no theory of how humans should interact with the environment whatsoever. So running out to the street and saying, don't be racist, fight homophobia, is not political at all. What this is people are being manipulated and used by the system. Essentially, what happened is we had decades and decades of labor battles and anti-capitalism theory, against essentially the ruling capitalistic class. And at some point, the people at the very top manipulate manipulate everyone else at the bottom to give up on their anti-capitalistic theory to just fight over these identities. And this started after World War One with the Red Scare, all the way through McCarthyism, and I would say even going through the Reagan period. Because before Reagan came into office, when I was very, 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 very young, it was okay to say that you're a liberal. And by the time 1988 came around, and I'm old enough to remember that, all of a sudden liberal became a dirty word. So you don't talk about liberals anymore. And once you have that, once you can't say you're a liberal, you can't question capitalism, and everyone just concedes that point, there's nothing else for the left to do except to run to identity politics. If you really want the world to be better for people of different races or different religions or gender preferences, then the important thing is to have people's needs met. And if you want to be engaged in activism or politics to help people's needs be met, you need to have a theory of politics and economics. Okay, um, that's it. Your Islamophobia rhetoric, your homophobia rhetoric, your anti-racism rhetoric is totally meaningless. So if you're going to protest Trump, protest things that he does, protest specific policies, and protest with an actual economic and political agenda and theory behind what you're doing. That's about it for now in terms of this. A side note, I have created a band, because the band is me. It's going to be called AntiSystem, and this is like a thrash metal punk band where it's songs that talk about the world the way it is. Anti-system is anti-everything. Anti-system has a guitarist who is me, and we have a bass player who is me, and we have a drum machine which is good enough because I don't play drums. Anti-System does not have a good vocalist because right now the vocalist is me, and most of this my first song is recorded. I make like a video for it. If anyone out there who knows me thinks that they like to yell on a mic, it can be a man, woman, whatever. There's some like possible chorusy parts, and if you know how to use the program Audacity, then I can send you a file and you can be part of my song. The first song is called God Bless America. It's a sarcastic song about how much the all knowing deity that controls the universe somehow gives a fuck about America. So, if you don't mind, if you want to be part of a sarcastic song, poking fun at the idiocy of American exceptionalism, and then just get back to me about it because I can send people the file with the lyrics. There are some nice chorusy parts, but if someone really likes to sing metal, then you can take over the whole thing for me. Or so that's just a total side note. Nothing about this. Fuck identity politics. Fuck stupid protests that don't mean anything. Please save your energy for things that truly matter. And that's it. Bye.